everybody. We're here at the Van Show talking to my friend, Will Hillenbrand. Say hi, Will.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All
I'm
right.
happy to be here with you, especially.
Oh, well, we're happy to have you. And we want to know about you. So first off, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right.
That's if this is the state of Ohio, Cincinnati is down here in the very bottom near Kentucky and Indiana, the tri-state. That's my hometown. That's where I grew up. And I live near there in Terrace Park, Ohio. So it's all right around the city of Cincinnati.
And I read as a child you have dyslexia. Is that correct?
I'm dyslexic.
You are dyslexic. Oh,
but I did
right.
not know that until I was in college.
Wow.
For one reason or another, we didn't have anyone that in my growing up school and that knew how to diagnose that. It was only when I was in college when I could do my artwork just fine, but I had really difficulty with my academic classes. So
that sounds like a real struggle.
Well, of course, it's a struggle, but and once I found out when I was diagnosed, I went back to my grade school, talked to my teachers, and they had someone there that could test me. They said there was nothing they could do. And I had learned how to learn on my own. And I went further and talked to a person at a university about being dyslexic. And at the end of the conversation, she said, "You know, Will, it will be your gift." And I never thought it could be a gift for me.
Wow.
Because nearly every day after that, I'd wake up and say, "Take this thing away from me that I have." I don't do that anymore. Maybe 5 years ago, I stopped because I think that what happened with being dyslexic, it allows me to see things in a way that I wouldn't know how to see it unless I have this disease where, you can't, for instance, to be specific, failure doesn't bother me. As a child, I failed so many times that it's not a fear of mine. Some children might think, well, I'm afraid to make a mistake, and they stop doing something, they freeze up because they don't want to take that risk. And for me, a gift of dyslexia is I have no trouble taking a risk because of failure. I think that failure is a part of creativity, and it's the way that we can see things anew.
That's such a great way to look at things. I've always thought that when you look at yourself and you say, well, these are my weaknesses, they're only weaknesses because that's how you perceive them.
That's right.
And that what are perceived weaknesses can actually be your strengths because they're all a part of who you are.
Do you know how brilliant you are?
Oh, go on.
Right. Well, it's true because that is it in essence. And that is the most critical disadvantage for a person with a dyslexic diagnosis is probably losing your self-confidence.
Yeah.
And if we lose our self-confidence, we actually lose our identity. And we have to be able to work vigorously to make sure that we can live life boldly and with confidence. And I try to do that, and I still struggle. It's not over, but that's okay.
We are all a work in progress constantly.
We are.
Always trying to achieve perfection.
And perfection is a mixture of imperfection.
Yeah.
And I think that the way we get there is through the journey.
Yeah, man.
And actually, the journey is the thing that teaches us everything we need to know.
And
that's what the journey of being dyslexic has taught me.
Yeah, we're philosophizing over here, man.
Yeah, there you go. Well, sorry about that.
No,
I am that.
I think it's great.
I didn't study it in school, but I kind of lean that way.
Yeah, well, me too. we're those kind of figures. Now, I'd like to get into your work. Now, you're an illustrator.
Yes.
And you've illustrated a lot of books.
I have.
And this right here, is this the newest book?
This is the newest book. I wrote and illustrated this. It's one of a series of books. It's the fifth book in the Bear and Mole series. And in this case, the title is called First Star. And within inside of First Star, there are actually two stories.
Oh.
There's a story within inside of a story, and the story that's inside of it is kind of a mythological story about the first bear family.
Wow.
It's really, a part of the story is about a fear. And the fear for the mole is the fear of the dark. Now, for some of us who don't fear the dark anymore or like the blanket of darkness when we go to bed, that's how we feel now. But there might have been a time it wasn't so. And when Mole is curious about the night sky and wants to be able to see the stars turn on, he knows he has to face that fear. And he faces it with a friend. Now they have to go to someplace dark so they can really see the brightness of the stars. So they camp out at Mount Tip Top. It's a long journey. But once they get there, Mole wants to know, he asks his friend Bear, is it going to get dark soon?
Ooh.
And Bear says it is. And Mole thinks it's time to go back home. But it's too far away. Bear doesn't say that, but it's too far away. But what Bear does is he tells a story about the first bear family and how they were afraid of the dark, because when they were here on Earth, there was no moon or stars at night. And so when the sun went down, it was really, really, really dark.
That's awesome. Now,
So-
I don't want to give away too much. We don't want to give away the ending.
No, don't. Yeah, we won't do that.
Oh, okay, awesome. Now, you brought some friends from this book. Is that right?
I did, and so right over here is oh, here goes one character here, but I don't know if you can see it, but this is Bear, and this is from the first book called Spring is Here, and well, we'll just keep that there, and here's Mole right over here, and he's probably going to be tickling Bear's nose with a feather. So
as he does.
yeah. To try to
Excellent.
wake him up so they can play.
Those are really cool little sculptures of your characters.
Yes, they are. I love them. They're on my desk when every day I look at them when I get ready to do my work, because it reminds me of my audience. And my audience is very dear to me, and I don't want to forget that the most special people in the world to me are children.
So that's fan art. So a fan of your books made that art and sent it to you?
Yes, a friend of mine, Shinobu, who lives in Japan, made those and many more characters, and I'm the happy recipient.
How cool. Now, we have a game we like to play with our authors.
Okay.
And the one we're going to play today is, if you could be any superhero in the world, who would you be?
I already am.
You already are a superhero.
Yeah, my superhero is this character right here, which will be in a new book, and this is Mighty Reader.
Mighty Reader.
Yeah, and if I had a superhero character, having a Mighty Reader superhero character is just the kind of superhero character that I would want. And so this will be a new book with Holiday House coming out within a year or so. And this is the main character. And he helps all those that have challenges like I had with my dyslexia. He helps them. Well, let me just say this. Reading is so important. Can I tell you how important it is?
Please do.
Well, it's freedom. That's the important part of it is. And if we're not able to read, we're not free to become the person we're intended to be.
Oh.
And so learning to read and read well is so important, because not only does it help you master, after all, the visual world is something we're familiar with as soon as we open our eyes. And our native tongue, the stories that are told to us, are things that we know. But our native tongue is a foreign language in print. They look like squiggles and all kinds of unknowable letters that we have to transfer into meaning. And so when we do so, we can figure out how to be able to live in the world so that we can find our own special place.
Wow. That's really beautiful. Thanks for sharing that with us. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.